They say that for the last 7 days of his life, the village of Kusinara did not know sleep. It wasn't the storm, and it wasn't the wind. It was a sound that defied nature, a rhythmic, agonizing scream that vibrated through the mud walls of a locked house. A sound that lacked the articulation of a man, yet carried the unmistakable terror of a living soul. Inside that house, a man named Kunda was paying a debt 50 years in the making. What happens when the hunter becomes the haunted? Kunda was not an evil man by the world's standards. He was a father, a neighbor, a provider. But for 50 years, his hands were the instruments of the end. Every dawn, before the sun could kiss the Ganges, Kunda would sharpen his steel. He had looked into 10,000 pairs of eyes and felt nothing. To him, the screams of the living were merely the background noise of a trade, a mechanical necessity for survival. He believed that once the life left the body, the story ended. Time is a silent witness. It collects what we scatter. As Kunda reached the winter of his life, a strange heat began to rise from within his bones. It was a fever no water could cool, a burning that did not blister the skin, but scorched the mind. He began to lose the strength to stand, and then he lost the ability to speak. The man who had spent 50 years forcing others to the ground found himself unable to leave it. He began to crawl on all fours, his fingers clawing at the dirt. His throat now emitted only the guttural, frantic squeals. As the monks passed the house, they heard the sounds of the struggle. They turned to the awakened one. "Lord, why does this man suffer as if he is already in the depths of a mental hell?" The Buddha stood still, a pillar of gold against the setting sun. "He is not being punished by an outside force," the teacher whispered. "He is simply meeting the echo of his own voice. The mind that dwells in violence eventually becomes the victim of its own shadows." On the 7th day, the house fell silent. Kunda had departed, leaving behind a legacy of steel and a lesson written in agony. We may not carry a butcher's knife, but how often do we slay the peace of others with a sharp word? The tragedy of Kunda is a reminder to us all: put down the knife and pick up the light. Dear friends, the scream of Kunda is not just a story from the past. It is a wake-up call for the present. Every moment of anger is a knife we sharpen against ourselves. Don't wait until the darkness closes in to look for the light. If you seek a path of peace, if you want to replace the noise of the world with the wisdom of the silence, let Gem Wisdom be your companion on this journey. Join our community of seekers. Subscribe to spread the light. I am Gem Wisdom, and I bow to the Buddha in you. Namaste.